Hey, Tori, it's Rich from the auto auction. Do you have time to talk to me about your remarketing strategies?
Absolutely, I do. Can you meet me at the gate?
I'm Rich Levene, and this is Meet Me at the Gate, where we're not just talking theory, we're tackling real world problems head on, driving solutions that supercharge productivity and team dynamics. Every episode is a journey towards improvement, empowering you, the manager, to lead with innovation and confidence. Join us to transform everyday roadblocks into highways for success.
Been on the buying side, the remarketing side, the operations side. There's not much I haven't done in the auction industry.
So, what's your favorite?
Oh, this side for sure, the remarketing side. This has been a dream job of mine since, man, I remember when I was with CarMax buying at the auctions and thinking I want to be the one up there on the block. That looks like the fun side. So it just took me a while to get there.
When you're up on the block, you control a lot of action, don't you?
Yeah, it's good and bad. I don't know if it's controlled. I guess it's controlled chaos when you have all the cars and you're selling them, but it's I enjoy it because it's the partnership piece. Like I can't do it without the auction. The auction can't do it without our stuff. I can't do it without buyers. So it's kind of funny how everybody is there for the same reason, yet they all seem to work against each other at some points.
You've got a leg up on me because I've sold cars at auction as a remarketer, working third party and working for auto lenders, and I've worked at an auction, but I've never bought cars at an auction. Oh, okay, now I take it back. I've bought cars as a general manager. Somebody somewhere screws up something and I got to inherit it. So yes, I have bought cars, but I haven't never bought cars in an atmosphere like you have. So I mean, there's got to be a thrill there. Does your heart race when you start bidding and the car comes up and
it's a game. Like we have deep pockets. The guy next to you has deep pockets. So you're trying to do these little games of like, all right, I'm going to wink and walk away, or you build relationships with the auctioneer and the ringman before. So, you tell them, hey, I'm at this much on this car, put me in. And the guy next to you has no idea that you're in it. And they say sold. They say you're buying your number and he gives you this look like, are you kidding me? And you're like, man, I tell everybody, I'm like, it's a profession. It's not a hobby. And there's a reason why certain people are able to buy cars for cheap. It's because they're trained. And I feel like in today's world, it's an art form that's being lost, bidding on cars in the lane. And it's just like I said, it's like any profession. You have to practice. And unfortunately, the only way to practice is to do it live. And sometimes it can cost you a lot of money if you make a mistake.
To give us your thoughts on online buying.
It's people in the lane hate it. People online probably hate it because they get run a lot without even knowing. I mean, if I was an online buyer, I would hate every second of it because you feel like you'd be getting took the whole time. It's kind of funny being on the block. You're just constantly, you're trying to get to a number. The auctioneer's trying to get to a number. When online hits, it's like, all right, I'm getting to that number just because they have no idea.
So what's funny about this, I noticed this Thursday, I'm standing in the lane. This is true story. Avis. Crap ton of Avis. I have no idea where they came from. They're all their hail damage cars. They're running through this lane. I feel so sorry for this auctioneer. There's nobody. He doesn't have a ringman. He doesn't have anybody on the block. Literally, auctioneer guy just sitting there by himself, bidding on cars. When I say nobody, nobody's in the lane. And one guy bids online, and you watch the screen. It turns green, and here we go. I'm just like, dude, there's nobody bidding on the car. Nobody. And you just keep thinking.
that probably means somebody put a proxy bid in. And so they just kept going. And it's like, all right, are we going to get there? Or are we not going to get there?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's where that comes in.
Yeah.
And so, okay, that ties into, so you're obviously, it sounds like you're hands-on, boots on the ground, touch it, feel it, drive it, smell it, all that. And that's how you were trained.
Yeah.
So you get to the auction even the day before, you grab the run list, you head outside, you got your clipboard, you're checking the car, you're writing them out, whatever you're doing, but you're physically there doing it. So
Absolutely.
Next day or same day when the sale is, you probably did it the day before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sale day, you get there, make sure everything's where it's supposed to be, run around, keeping track of the cars, keeping track of lanes, which that in itself is a trick.
Absolutely. It's easy to get lost in that chaos for sure. Like I tell anybody, I'm like, this is the side of the car industry that very few people know about. They just see the car on the front lot and that's all they know. They don't know how it got there, the process it went through. And so to me, that's the part that's the exciting part of the car industry. And it's hard to explain to people. I tell them it's like a sporting event. I was like, even, Rich on his side, me on my side, buyers on their side, like it's a big event and you get to do it every week. It's the exciting part.
Yeah.
Got to have a game plan.
Got to have a game plan, yeah. And like just from my experience, which ones are prepared and which ones are just clueless. Like it takes you about 30 seconds to pick up on it.
Are you talking buyers? Are you talking sellers? Are you talking auctions?
Oh, everything. It takes you about 30 seconds.
So you know about the vibe. Rich and I talk about the vibe a lot.
Yeah. Like I think Rich has said it smacks you in the face as soon as you walk in the door. It's very easy to feel which one's got it together and which ones don't.
Yeah, if it doesn't smack you, it doesn't smack you in the face, there's no vibe. But there's got to be a vibe. And is it a good vibe or is it a bad vibe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we've been getting some feedback lately, so I think our vibe's good. But let's keep this about you. From going from CarMax days buying cars to an auction, what's your biggest takeaway? What'd you learn? Like, what was the most valuable piece of information for an auction? For somebody working at an auction, like, you know what? When you're working at an auction and a buyer, you need to know this.
Yeah. You have to have a game plan and you have to know what auction you're buying from. So the reason why I feel like you need to be out there is we have all seen it. I mean, buying side or marketing side, it's hard to trust the CR because you're trusting somebody else's opinion on what the damage is. And coming in, feedback I'm always trying to give the auctions is, all right, think about who's going to buy this car. If it's Drive Time, CarMax, Carvana, all those big retail ones, the damages you guys are notating, like they're not going to touch. And it's hard for them because, the auction has to protect itself. They're standing behind that CR, but you have to try to find that middle ground between presenting it correctly and not eating the car as the auction. So as a buyer, it's like, man, like the CR is there, but how they interpret a damage could be completely different how you interpret it. So you kind of take it with a grain of salt as from the buying side.
Go back and watch the podcast with Jordan Walters from Clickins. We talk about this very, very thing. And one of the things I came up with and said, hey, let's just get rid of auto grade. We don't need auto grade. It's subjective. It's not objective. It's supposed to be objective, but it's not. And you said it depends on how they write it. Was the CR writer tired? Was he on his A game? Who taught him how to write it? What kind of day was it? Is it a rainy day? Was it a hot day? Was it a humid day? Was it a cold day? Who knows? But anyway, so what Clickins has is information that would give you, basically, they called it generative AI, where it will give you damage line items based off of a photograph using a camera. Camera doesn't get tired. Okay, great. Now I got all the damage lines based off of AI. It gets like very precise. This is a 5.5-inch dent. This is a 7-inch scratch. Now you get some very good information. We had Black Book on there as well. We had Paul Machine from Black Book. And now you've got market value. All right, buyer, I'm giving you two pieces of information. I'm giving you market value and I'm giving you the total damage amount. You as a professional, you determine how much recon it's going to take to fix that car. You determine if you're going to buy it, and if you're going to buy it, how much you're going to pay based on the real data that I just gave you. Now that goes back, in my opinion, that builds consistency, accuracy, and transparency, and that equals trust.
Well, and you hit it on the nose that trust piece is, as a buyer, if you trust the product, you're going to pay more. Like, it doesn't matter if it's Amazon, Walmart, Target, whatever product people are loyal to a brand for a reason because they trust the product. So I feel like, auctions, this is a weird industry because there's two ways to make money in this industry. You can do it by being sketchy and you can do it by being honest. Which one is easier and is going to make you that instant money? Being sketchy and burying people. Which one is long lasting but takes work? Being honest, trustworthy, transparent. And it's so funny, like, coming from both sides, like, which ones you can't trust and which ones you trust. I bought at tons of auctions, now I've been selling at tons of auctions, and it's like you can just tell the difference. What buyers trust the product you're selling and which ones you're not. So for me on this side, it's using that knowledge from the buying side to how do I build trust in my product, and how do I get the auctions to buy into building trust in my product? Because we're all here for the same reason. We want to sell cars, want to do it quickly, we want to do it honestly and fairly. That third one, some is 50-50. But for me, I like to sleep at night. I like to do the right thing. I'm raising kids. I try to raise them to be honest, fair. So that's how I live my life. So it's so funny, like how all that experience, this has been my dream job. But if I would have come into this job right out of CarMax, I don't think I would have understood the importance of this without all this experience.
And then what you do that I think people need to be aware of, and let's say you're a dealer listening to this podcast. So you've been on the buyer side and you've been on the seller side, you've been on the auction side. When you're on the block, you're making a decision. You're saying, yes, I'm going to sell this car. No, I'm not going to sell this car. And you're always present, whether it's online or in person. You're there when the car goes across. You're not putting them on offer. And then you also have a title. So the title's present. Yep. So those three things are the trifecta. And I hear it from dealers all the time. Oh, I want to sell my cars in the third party lane. And I'm like, why? Well, because they got the brand, they got the name, they got all that stuff. I'm like, no, that's not how this works. You can go ahead and put it there, but that's just the name. You as an individual need to represent your car, have a fair price. You need to say yay or nay on the block, not hiding, not playing games, not bidding on your own car. And then you also need to have a title there.
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying. So not doing that is a sketchy short game. Yeah, you can make money. Long haul, do it the other way. Be on the block, be honest, be transparent. Tell them what you got. Tell them why it's there. Have the title and sell it. You're probably going to lose money on your first 4 weeks running. That's 30 days. But what are you going to make the next 11 months? Yeah. It's going to be way bigger than what you're going to get up front.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Like I see it all the time. Like these floors, these buyers bring in that are running, in our lane. I'm just like, man, like there's no rhyme or reason. Like that's not logical. It's just trying to make a quick buck. And yeah, and kind of to your point, like, when you said we're online, I'm always trying to rep my cars. I think that plays big value when you can get an answer right there. And for all those dealers out there, no rep likes putting cars on ifs. It creates more work for us. The ones that I do normally is because I have to double check something. But Rich, I try to get you guys an answer within, before their lane's even done, just because I don't want to hold up the buyer's money. Once again, it's a partnership between everybody. I need to respect the buyers, their time, their money. They're coming here to bid on my stuff. I've been in the auction industry. I know how hard it is to get ready for a sale. So respect the auction, respect their time. They're working hard. Why wouldn't I sell their stuff? That's how they make money. I feel like when you do that, auctions tend to go above and beyond even more. And then once again, it just kind of builds that brand loyalty.
And you've done a great job of not putting stuff on offers. When you put things on offers, I think offers should be used as a tool, as a safeguard when there's maybe a little bit of uncertainty. Mm-hmm. Yes, you as a rep, right? You have leeway ability. We all make mistakes. There could be the one time, and I've even done it before. I've even been given a number by a bank or a seller and say, hey, Rich, if this thing brings 30,000, go ahead and sell it. But then it comes across and we're like at 32 and I'm looking at, something's just not right here. I think this car might have been underpriced. Who knows what? I'm just going to put it in an offer and find out. And I'll call and I'll double check. Because the worst thing that could happen is you sell it for the wrong price. Now you got a bigger mess.
Yeah. Yeah. And that creates nothing. And you know this, Rich, nothing bogs down the process more than unnecessary work.
Yes.
Yeah. And it comes from both sides. I'm guilty of it. Every rep's guilty of it. Creating unnecessary work, not on purpose. It's the auction industry. Stuff happens that you can't control. You can't even predict.
Every day. That's the one thing you can count on at an auction. Something will happen today that has never happened before.
Wow, that's why I tell the auction. Yeah, like that's why I tell the auctions. I was like, look, just be honest with me. There's nothing you can tell me that like I wouldn't be shocked. Like stuff happens, cars blow up, things go missing. It's an imperfect world we live in, so stuff happens. And you add the auto industry, it's just builds on top of each other.
I said it, and we're working with used cars. No car's the same. Last podcast, Jordan even said it. Every car's got to stand on its own. Every car is unique. Once it leaves the assembly line and gets sold for the first time, every Toyota Corolla is no longer the same. They're all different now. They're all driven different, taken care of different.
And they all have
You're never going to get
a
a grade on it. They do. They
I
do.
like that part. So let's talk about transportation for a minute. You're overseeing a lot of vehicles, and I'm assuming somehow you have to keep track of, okay, I got somebody got the car, and I need to go get it picked up, and I need to get it to my auction.
How do you handle the transportation monster, Tory?
So that's the great part about my company is I don't. And I'll be honest, I have more respect for people in transportation because that is a beast that I have no desire or anything to be a part of. Like the people that run that side of the business are, I mean, I'm here and they're here. Because like to me, that's the most important step. And so we have a team that is dedicated to just that transportation piece. So once I assign it, I don't touch it until it shows up at the auction and it's been inspected. So I will say it's a constantly changing world in that department. There's something new every time, always, hey, is this car being picked up? Is this car being picked up? So the thing that I do is I pick and choose where these cars go to, what auctions. And since I'm the one that builds the relationships, and it's so funny, I will gladly pay a couple $100 more to send a car to an auction that I know will do it right. So it goes back to that trust piece is if I know you're going to handle it right, there's not going to be issues. If there is an issue, you'll notify me. If I can trust the inventory at an auction, I will pay extra to send it there. It's not even about the money. It's the trust.
Bam.
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 So Richard, you might be getting stuff from Texas to Alaska.
Sweet.
Ty can go pick it up for you.
Ty's got a long distance hauler. Long mile, short dollars. Isn't that what you like?
I like short mile, long dollar.
I like long mile, short dollar.
You'd be surprised how many people like that, and it's what I call lazy. Just load it once and drive for 3 days. Huh?
When's that car going to be here?
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't this supposed to be here yesterday?
Where's it at? Hey, Ty, where's my car?
Is there an app for that?
Oh, man. And that's where it gets crazy. So, like, I'm actually helping a smaller transport company. And I mean, I do that a lot, but this one I'm actually like really helping. Like, I'm going and showing them, don't do that, do this. I was blessed. I didn't have to have a load board. I had 100% dealers, about 400-ish, a little more, call me every week, every month, every year. Ty, I got a load. Ty, go get it. Ty, just bang, bang, bang. Well, so a guy who's started his business on a load board, and I don't know if you know anything about car hauler load boards, but that's just a dumpster fire. I mean, it's a complete dumpster. So you get on there and you start grabbing loads and you hope somebody's going to pay you and it doesn't work out and somebody's lying and the keys aren't there, the car's not there, the gate pass isn't there. So as I'm moving into helping this guy, one of the things I'm saying is let's use some of your load board stuff. You've been surviving on it somehow. And let's use that, a guy like me with relationships and contacts, to fill in these gaps. So you get a load over here, short, couple 100 miles max. You drop it off in Springfield, Missouri. You let me know you're going to be there on Thursday. Thursday's the sale. I'm going to send out a text to about 6 or 7 dealers. I'm going to tell them I got an empty truck in Springfield on Thursday. And it was like under 10 minutes, I have the truck full and I'm telling guys, okay, that's it. We can't, no more. So again, back to relationships, and back to trust, and back to one of the things that I mean, technology is good. I'm not saying technology is bad, but what I am saying, and I'm seeing it real life right now, is it's 100% relationship. And it was exactly what you're saying, what Rich is saying. Do I trust Ty that he's going to do what he says he's going to do? And the more you build that, the more they keep calling. They keep calling. More cars. Add another truck. Just keep going. So anyway, I get excited about relationships and working with guys. And that's the other thing. I mean, people don't understand. There's a real guy. His name's Tory. And he really works for a company that really needs a relationship with you. Grown adult men don't know that.
No.
that spent
Well, it's like
$300,000 on equipment and insurance and everything else, and they're like, dude, what are you doing?
we're in the relationship business. We just happen to sell cars. That's what it is.
Yeah,
It's not the first time we've heard that on this podcast.
Yeah.
So no, it's awesome. It's a reoccurring theme. All right, so let's shift gears. You're a rep. So you went buyer to auction to, we're going to call it rep because Hertz is still rep. So you're on the block. You're selling cars. What? And you're not picking on us, okay? We're honestly here. Ty and I are about solutions. That's what the whole podcast is about. How can we help managers at auctions? What can, just generally speaking, can auctions do better?
I'd say the auctions that do it right have a relationship with me. You know, there's the auction way of doing things, there's my way of doing things, and then there's the best way of doing things. So to me, the auction and the rep have to find the commonality to find the best way to do things. Does that mean we're always going to agree? No. But stop hiding from those hard conversations and pushing them under the rug. And let's find a solution, because at the end of the day, it's going to build that long lasting relationship. So in my mind, the auctions, what they can do better is build that relationship with the reps. Like, it's a dog, let's be honest, it's a dog eat dog world out there. There's tons of competitions. It's the ones that you have a true relationship with, not oh, hey, this is the rep for ABCY. Like, they're here this week. Let's just pamper them and tell them all the things that he wants to hear. Let's make sure they're comfortable. And then once they leave, all right, on to the next. Like, once again, that's a Band-Aid for a bigger problem. So I appreciate when auctions are like, hey, we struggle with this, we struggle with that. Like, what can we do to get better? I'm like, one, I don't have all the solutions, but I'm here to help. It's a partnership. Like, that's the biggest piece. Is it's like, I'm not a piggy bank. Like, I'm a person. I enjoy. Rich knows this about me. I enjoy relationships. Like, nothing makes me happier than when somebody just calls me, just said like, "Hey, how's your week going?" I'm like, "Man, what do you need?" Like, I'm here for you. Let's make it happen. Yeah, and I get it. Like, auction life is crazy. Like, you are going hard from 8 to 5, 8 to 8. Like, I get it. Things happen.
What auction are you at? You can go
know.
8 to 5.
From 8 to 5
or 8 to 8.
8 to 8. I've been all of it.
I know. I got to bust your chops. But I think we've gotten better as auctions since COVID. I think COVID woke some people up. Whether you like COVID or not, we're just going to use that as the timeline.
Yep.
An event that happened where we've actually started, I believe, putting some people back in. And you know me well enough. I got to jump on my high horse. And you touched it perfectly. So what do you care more about? Do you care more about your processes, your profits, your plans, or your productions, your products, whatever you want to call it?
Mm-hmm.
The 4 Ps: plans, processes, profits, and production. Or you care more about people. And you nailed it. It's like, you got to care about the people. It's like building that relationship. And anybody's going to know, you're going to know as a rep, right? If somebody cares all about those other ones and then tries pulling the wool over your head. Hey, Tory, you want to go to the game tonight? Do you want to go to the golf course? Hey, you have everything you need? Oh God, he's gone. Thanks. I mean, you can sniff that stuff up from a mile away.
Yeah. And it's so like surfacey that it does nothing to fill my bucket. I'm like, man, I would much rather have a phone call with you about like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? What's going on? Than like, I was like, that means you care about you care about, I guess, me as a person, but that means you're going to care about our product. So like a perfect example was I went to go visit an auction, didn't know I was coming, literally walked right through the front doors, didn't even say hi. I like to test auctions to see how they respond to strangers on their lot. Cause I was like, if they care about our stuff, they're going to notice me. So I walked straight through out to our inventory, and I'm being super obnoxious, opening hoods, starting cars, like in and out, just being obnoxious. Within 5 minutes, I had about 4 employees corner me and like super respectful, but like, sir, who are you? Did you check in? We have a process. Like, can I take you up there? And I'm just being obnoxious. I was like, no, I'm just here to look at cars. Well, we have a process. I was like, no, I'm going to buy these. It's all right. And so finally, like, I told them, like, hey guys, I'm the rep for these cars. And they're like, oh my gosh, the GM comes out. He's like, we have a group text that's going off. Like, somebody just came through our office. We don't know who he is. Like the office manager, they have a cop on call. She's like, I got them on call. Like, who is this guy? But I told him, I'm like, guys, that means you guys care. I was like, you guys were super respectful about it. You didn't try to run me out. You asked probing questions. I'm like, all right, like, I trust you guys. Like, just show that you care. Just a little bit goes a long way. And it's small stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Show me you care.
Yeah.
Show me how much you care about me as a person versus the cars and the money and the profits you're going to make off this in the back end.
So I hope that answered your question.
No, it did. It nailed it. We've stumped Ty, though. We've got Ty speechless.
No, I'm sitting here going through process. I'm like, okay, I'm not with a big company that has a bunch of cars, but I've been to a lot of auctions where I just walk in and let's see what happens. Let's do a vibe check. And I've had an array, probably just like you, of encounters with what some people might call the nobodies, right? The lower, less thans. You know, the guys back there busting 400 degrees outside and they're inside of a car detailing it, and just nuts. My favorites, and you kind of just described my favorite. I go to the auction. I'm being obnoxious, just like you're saying. I want to see how they're going to deal with me. They don't know I'm the transport guy, a dealer guy. They don't know who I am. And my favorites are the ones that are like, hey, buddy, how's it going? Great. How are you? Can I help you find something? You need a ride? What are you looking at? What are you doing? Real nice. Very, they're obviously checking who are you and what are you doing, but they're doing it in a professional manner. So why I like that, and Rich, this is a true story. I don't know if Rich ever told you, but I'm on my way back from somewhere, Texas. I do a show on Friday, a live show, and I used to do this at an auction in the transport parking lot every Friday at noon. I'm driving back from somewhere in Texas. I'm blasting through. I don't know Rich, but I got to get to an auction because the show starts in an hour. So I like get on Google Maps. Oh, I'll just go there. And this is COVID, by the way, during COVID. So I come whipping in, jump out, run straight to the guard shack. Don't know these guys, don't know Rich, don't know anything. Hey guys, I'm Ty, the transport guy. Oh, hey buddy, how you doing? Good. How was your sale this week? We ran 350 cars. Oh, wow. What percentage? That was 72%. Wow. So these are the guys at the guard shack that know stuff that all the other guard shacks I've been to don't know this stuff. Not all of them, but you know what I mean. And they're just laying it down. They're helping me out. And I'm just starting to get like little goosebumps. Like, how do these guys back here know this stuff? This is amazing. Somebody from management has been talking to these people in a way that they understand what's coming out of my mouth. And I was completely blown away. So exactly kind of tying into what you're saying, when the vibe check, whatever, you walk through the door, you get the feeling for it. But it leaves such a lasting impression when you encounter the guy that's making maybe $10 to $20 an hour versus, somebody who's doing something different. And they love you. They treat you right. They're happy to help, willing to help. And I'm just like, I've seen that. So I know what you're talking about. And it's really cool. And I got to see it Rich before I ever knew Rich.
True story. You didn't know me at that time. Ty's telling me that story, and I said, Ty, what auction you at? I don't remember. Pretty soon he pulls it up and he texts me and he sends me a picture. He sends me the YouTube video. I said, I was a general manager there that time. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a good story. But to get your employees to that level to understand, right? So don't misconstrue this. So we talk about the plans, the processes, the products, and the profits, right? So Ty just said, hey, these guys knew all about the numbers. They knew all the numbers. So now somebody's going to be sitting at home and go, oh, well, you see, you're just talking about numbers. That fits your 4 Ps. That's performance. That's products. That's profits. That's plans. No, it's not. They picked up on that because we had a plan setting forth on how to take care of them as people. And as soon as I showed them how much I cared about them, they started caring about what I cared about and started to want to know these things and how could they help and how they could do. And we built that camaraderie, which I think, Tory, you and I've talked about where, one of my pillars now is continuous improvement. I ask my guys all the time, what can we do better? I ask you all the time, hey, you'll call me up and say, great sale. Yeah, it was. Thank you. I appreciate it. But is there anything we can do better next time?
Yeah.
And you give me feedback and you tell us honestly, like, okay, we're going to try to do that. We're going to go try to fix this. How can we How can we always continuously improve? Yeah. And that's when you start talking about the relationship. I think that piece starts coming in.
Yeah. It's always tough when you see the auctions putting that over the people, and like the people that are, taking care of your inventory are just distraught, like not fun to be around. You can tell they're miserable. So they're like, man, if they're miserable, like how do they act when they have to, do a repair on my car, when I ask them to go look at a CR, when they, ask them a question about this, like they're going to hate it. And so I always have a rule, and I tell every auction this: you don't stay late because of my inventory, like plain and simple. Like I've been there at 3, 4 in the morning, in the detail shop. Like that creates a terrible, I guess, feel about our inventory, our brand. So it's like, I'm not even going to go there. So it's, once again, I think for me as a rep, it's also recognizing putting the people first, because they are the ones doing all the work to get these cars ready for sale. Like you said, it's the service industry, the relationship industry, all of that.
Build a relationship first, sell cars as a side project.
100%.
You're gonna make money selling the cars, but you'll make more money if you build a relationship first.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna ask you one more series of questions to wind down. You ready?
Let's go.
Talk to me about being an IARA certified remarketer.
That test is long and very informative. I'm a terrible test taker. So I can read stuff, but like trying to, I guess, organize my thoughts on the test have never been my strong point. So that test is tough. It gives you a sense of confidence in when you're making a decision, because for us, we have clients that we have to answer to. So having that certification kind of gives them the peace of mind that, like, hey, it's not Joe Blow off the street that has some experience. Like, it's somebody that has taken the time, studied, done the class, taken the testing, passed the testing, and, continues to grow their knowledge of that industry. So for me, it's huge because our company, every rep has to be a certified rep. And I think it just speaks volume about how much we care about, representing our brand and being knowledgeable in what makes up the value of the car. Like that was the big piece. CarMax, they have their side, but then on the seller side, it's kind of taking that buyer savvy that you have and then the market knowledge and putting all of that together.
Awesome. You picked up this certification with this most recent job. So you were buyer, auction, now you're a remarketer. You picked it up as a remarketer.
Yes, correct.
That's the car certification, is that right?
Yeah.
CAR?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
So is this something you wish you would have done sooner?
100%. Yep, 100%. Yeah. Because I think, I'll be honest, I didn't really know about this until I took this role. Like I had heard of it, like, I've seen it on people's signature, and I'm always like, that's something that doesn't pertain to me. But knowing how much it pertains, not to just the remarketing side, but like the entire auction industry as a whole. I mean, to me, any manager at an auction, I think, should be certified.
Love it.
I see the wheels spinning, Rich.
They are. They're spinning. They're going really fast.
Yeah.
For a long time, what I've always told car haulers, we don't have a car hauler school. So for years, I've said, if you really want to be a car hauler, you should go to Auction Academy. That's where I would start. If I wanted to be a car hauler, a new guy, I would start at the Auction Academy. And I mean, I know a little bit about car certification, but not a lot. And I've definitely wanted to take that one too. But it gives you the understanding, Tory, you've been saying it. You got your buyer, you got your seller, you got your auction, you got transportation, you got recon, detail, all these things. It's like there's so many opportunities in an auction. I've said that for years and years. For a vendor, whoever you buyer, dealer, whatever you are. And that's one of the favorite things I've liked about auctions is a good auction recognizes good vendors, good relationships, and is willing and able to help you grow.
Yeah.
Like I had a lot of auctions that really helped me grow my business.
The auction industry is funny. Like, Rich, I always think about when you came and helped us with our communication. So like I can tell you probably my top 5 auctions, I communicate differently with every single one of them. I don't communicate the same way. And like they're all awesome. So I have a fleet manager, Rich. She's straight red. Like red, don't call me unless you need something. If you need something done, call me. But if you just want to talk, like I'll give you 2 words and then I got to go do something. And I'm not offended. I was like, yep, you're red. Got it. I'm going to keep it short, sweet. And like, I love that place. It's an awesome auction. I think my biggest thing, Rich, is there's way too many yellows in the fleet roll. And I can talk way, I'm a straight yellow. So it's like we get on a roll and I'm like, hey, it's been 25 minutes. We haven't gotten to what we need to get to. Like, it's just kind of funny. Like, that's what I love about this roll is I have 15 auctions or 13 auctions I oversee. And so it's always that balance of communicating what I need done because everybody, listens differently. I have to figure out how to communicate so they understand what I want. And then there's, they'll change roles, somebody will leave, somebody else will come in. So then all that hard work, you got to restart at the beginning. Yeah.
So I'm gonna have you help me with a shameless plug.
Okay.
Okay. So you talked about communication. I help you with communication. But there was another piece that you helped too, and you were you were the very first group of, I believe there was 8 of you that went through my leadership mindset program I put together. Mm-hmm. I've only tested it once. I've only tested with you. But if you could put that into 2 sentences, what would you say? How did it help you? Or did it even help you? Now I got ego. It helped you.
It was terrible, Rich. You wasted your time for 3 years doing absolutely nothing.
Story of my life.
I know. I'm trying to think. Only 2 sentences? You're putting chains on.
Okay, you can do 4. You can do 8.
Yeah.
You can do 20.
I know. So let me think.
Just don't blow any smoke up my skirt, all right?
No, I don't do that. You know that. If you suck, you suck. If you're good, you're good. I think we were all very different people, all 8 of us. You didn't have anybody that was the same. You had new people, you had, friends or people you had built relationships with, like you and me. And I think it was cool to see, and we were all in different, I guess, industries. Very few of us were in the same industry. So it was cool to see all of us there trying to become better leaders. And everything pertained to us, and yet we were all in different industries. So once again, it comes back to that when you don't focus on the product and you focus on the people, it just, at the end of the day, it comes down to growing people, not the product, not the name. So I think that's what I took was, regardless of what industry you're in, you can take those skills and apply them.
Which sounds like it's helped with your communication, because now you're identifying, hey, Rich, I'm working with a red. Hey, there's a blue over here.
Yeah.
There's too many yellows.
There's way too many yellows. Like, yeah, there's way too many.
And there's a reason why there's a lot of yellows in those positions is because they build the relationships. And you said relationships are really important.
Yeah.
So what this starts boiling back down to is something I always talk about, and that's self-awareness. So, and you even hit it. Yeah, you know what? We've been talking for 25 minutes. We got to go get something done. Yeah. That's self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
And if you're a yellow without self-awareness, you're going to do that for an hour and 25 minutes, and you're going to go, holy crap, it's time for lunch. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you're going to get mad, like, wait, why isn't anything getting done at the auction? Well, guess what? You haven't told them what needs to get done. So how can you, because that's what I found, like, when I first took this role, I was like, man, like, these auctions don't get what I want. And when I went and really looked down at my communication, it's like, do they know what they want? So have I actually broken down, like, okay, this is what I want, but have I broken it down to a way where they can understand it? I mean, we had that perfect example, Rich, where we talked about those cars where it's like, that's not what I said, but like, that's how they run everything green light. And I was like, no, I asked them their thoughts and they took that as, okay, that's what he wants. I'm like that. Yeah. So I don't think you can ever be perfect at communicating with every single person.
No,
Yeah.
But you hit it spot on in a nutshell right there. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, the communication comes down is, are you talking to them in a way they can understand?
Yep. And it's amazing how much more stuff gets done when they understand what you need. And then you're like, okay, like once they get it and the expectations are set, when those expectations aren't met, they tell you before you even find out. They're like, hey, we know you want this. We accidentally did this, but hey, just want to let you know. And I'm like, guys, I'll just say, okay, cool, thanks. Like, that's it. I'm a pretty easygoing guy. This isn't rocket science.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Meet Me at the Gate. I hope the conversation has helped to fuel your drive and equip you with insights to steer your team towards success. Remember, the road to success is always under construction. And until next time, keep your engines revving and your gas tanks full.